little egg sac for a spider of some sort, and probably kept them, kept them safe until they were hatched, and off they went. And there are a few of them in amongst the bushes over here. Then the second thing is this root. This root is interesting because it's been dug out very specifically out of this hole by, I think, either a badger or a porcupine. I can't imagine what else would have done it, unless it was maybe, you know what it could have been. Because there are badgers we would normally see in and around camp, would see their tracks. Porcupine, you'd see their quills. And I wonder if this wasn't perhaps a scrub hare. And the scrub hare may have dug this hole. I am not going to say anything further, because Jamie has managed to find an elephant and Fergus has just spiked himself in the bottom.
Good timing, everybody. Here's our elephants. We've been one step behind them all through the drive. Now we're one step with them. We're in sync with them. Look at this little one. Oh, it's too gorgeous. There's a tiny, tiny young calf with this herd. And a baby elephant is always such a precious little sight. What are you doing? You're full of nonsense. It's been running up and down the entire time, causing trouble with the other youngsters. Oh, backing up under Mum. Look out. Little female. Oh, with very wobbly legs. This elephant is not old at all. Probably only a couple of weeks at the most. Oh, that is so tiny. Where are you going, you little monster? Oh, you're going to get lost, and Mum's going to get cross with you. Oh, this is lovely. It always takes me back to my first ever live elephant sighting when I first started working for Safari Live in a drainage line. Just like this. It was right here, actually. It was exactly at this particular point. And I find as we get closer to the point where I'm going to be leaving for a while, these memories all come flooding back. I'm going to try and get us another view. There is another elephant off to my left, and I want to come between the elephant and the rest of the herd. Hello. I know what I'm going to do. You'll have to bear with me. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to turn around. Oh, no, I'm not. There is a very large, very pregnant lady in front of me. Okay, we'll stop here then. I'm not going to mess with the pregnant lady. Look at her. I think she's pregnant. She looks bulging to me. She looks as though she's also having a little bit of a snooze. I've positioned myself in a way that I'm not in between the entire herd, which is ideal when you're with elephants. I think she's having a little bit of a rest. Now, you can see clearly that these elephants are completely relaxed with us. Body language completely relaxed. She appears to be playing musical statues. She really is fast asleep. She has not moved.
She's weird.
Are you okay there, girl? There we go. So relaxed tails. And of course, we've seen elephants when they're agitated, and Cedar Point would like to know, how do elephants warn each other when danger is lurking? And the answer to that really is they communicate with each other. Whether it's through body language or through the low rumbles that we often hear. The tail is a very, very important indicator when it comes to reading elephant body language. If it's soft and floppy, like hers is, then that animal is perfectly contentedly relaxed. If her ears are flapping gently, then she's relaxed. If her tail's stiff and her ears are out, I have seen some amazing communication between elephants. There was one incident not too long ago. I think she's been digging for water. That's why she was so still. She was waiting for it to filter up through the sand. That's what she was doing. There was a sighting that I had a couple of weeks ago where there was one elephant that suddenly was upset with us. And I don't know if it was because our roof flapped or what it was. But as soon as she became tense, as soon as her body language changed, I don't know what she said or did, but the matriarch immediately came to come and help her and to come and stand over me and just remind me that they're that much bigger than we are, and that they could do tremendous damage if they wanted to. And it was such a profound moment because I realized just how in communication elephants are all the time with each other and how aware of each other they are, even when they're spread out. That's exactly what she's been doing. So the Mulwati drainage line, which is where we are now, is a dried up river. It's a dry river. And it flowed not too long ago, which means that even though we can't see the water, the elephants know that it's there, they know where to go and dig, and they'll dig down below the surface of the soil and then let the water well up. And that's how they get really nice, very clean drinking water. And elephants are quite fussy. If they can drink clean water, they will drink clean water. Oh, my girl. I'm just checking the Ellies behind us have got enough space to come down if they want to. And they definitely do. I'm just making sure that we haven't blocked their route, especially on a steep descent into the river itself. It's better not to be in their way. Several tons of animal walking downhill is quite the sight. Oh, I just saw that baby elephant, and unfortunately I can't reposition again until this lovely lady's finished her drink to show you that little elephant. But Riti, you wanted to know if small elephants are prey for carnivores. Potentially, it is a possibility. It could happen, especially if the rest of the herd, if the youngster has wandered away from the protection of the herd. But it's very, very unusual because elephants are so protective of each other, and it's not just the mum that a predator has to contend with. It's the entire herd, the entire sisterhood of elephants that will come rushing to the defense of a calf. And you'll find that the only thing really that's big enough out here to attack a small elephant, or to attack an elephant, is a lion. And you'll find that in places where, see, there's the water, just splashing it over her shoulder. In places where lions do kill elephants, and it's unusual here, they generally go for young bulls that are just on the outskirts of the herd, and that the herd is not that invested in protecting. But hyenas, again, also where there's very large clans of hyenas that are used to hunting, are also a potential threat, but it's very, very unusual. I wouldn't want to tangle with mom either. And they form that defensive huddle. We've seen that many a time, where the females band together, sort of stand shoulder to shoulder in a circle around the little ones. And they get very, very protective. The way she's bending, hunching her body so she can reach, she's obviously a very deep hole that she's adopting this posture. I'd love to reposition, but I think I'd make her feel a bit insecure if I did. So we'll just stay where we are for now. Beautiful view. You can see that it's taking her time as well to actually fill up her trunk with water. It's obviously seeping through very slowly. And I've been so distracted by the elephants in front of me and behind me, I completely missed what Kirsty was trying to tell me, but I think she's telling me to send you over to James, who's got another thrilling thing in the tent.
Yeah, thrilling. It is quite thrilling. Well, it's semi-thrilling. Can I have semi-thrilling? Let's go to the microscope before I tell you what it is. There we are. It is, of course, I'm almost embarrassed to say it. It's a Vernonia flower, everybody, but we don't normally see it under the microscope like this, which is very nice. Unfortunately, there are no thrips in this one either. But the main reason that I've picked it and put it under the microscope like this is because what I want you to look at is what it looks like once it has finished flowering and turned to seeds. So we can come back to me. There we are. Then I will put the main article, the pièce de résistance of this particular segment, underneath the microscope. Ah, pièce de résistance. Look at it. Now each of those is a little winged seed. Isn't that amazing? Now, so that's all of them. Now we can I'll try and just put one underneath so you can just look at the one. Kirsten, this is going to look seasick. Thank you so much. Back to me. And I'll just put the one underneath with my forceps. I've got forceps here. Very good. I feel like a surgeon. Not a very good one. Sorry, everybody. It's just a little bit awkward. Yes, there we go. A little bit further down. Yeah, there we go. So that's what and the light keeps changing. This microscope gets very, very nervous. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. So there we are. That's what it looks like. Let me put a little bit more light onto it. That is one seed. I think that's really quite special. So those are its wings. I suppose a little bit like a dart flies towards the dartboard or towards whoever you've thrown it at. Well, I imagine that those sort of awns, I guess you'd call them, act either like wings or as stabilizers as it flies through the air. That's quite cool. Alright, so that's what Vernonia looks like, and then that's what this flower eventually turns to, you can see. Now, Fergus, would you like to make a wish?
Every day I make wishes.
Alright, would you like to make one now?
Oh, indeed.
Yes, okay, make it now. Here we go. Almost like a dandelion, slightly heavier, and so they're now all over the desk here. Good. Okay, now we have another plant that gets put to the wind. This time is Hibiscus macranthus. There we go. Macrantha. And that's what the seed looks like. And of course I think that this is exactly the same sort of yes, it does look like a hairy eyeball, Kirsten, but it isn't. It's a seed, and it is much the same as the Vernonia. It is designed like this to be cast to the wind, to the autumn winds, where it will fall into the seed bed and eventually be part of hopefully next year's growth. But of course there's so many seeds and vastly fewer flowers and plants, so I think you'll find that most of them get eaten or destroyed or something like that happens to them. I'm now going to make a wish myself. I'm going to wish to see some cats, and I'm going to hope that all of you wish the same with me. And so as we wish together, I want you to all blow collectively at this flower. Are you ready? Because it's quite heavy. It's going to require a collective breath effort. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That was the sound of my wish being carried to the ether. Good. Right, now you'll be astounded to know that we're about to go and have a fake break that isn't really a break. Now, when you come back, don't forget that Tristan is now on a vehicle, and to watch him drive is a spectacular joy, and Jamie will hopefully still be with those wonderful elephants. And now we're going to head across to Tristan, who has got the sun.
We do indeed, James. The last rays of sunlight going below the Drakensberg Mountains. It's still probably about 10 or 15 minutes away from dropping behind the mountains, but slowly but surely it is starting to get darker. But it's such a beautiful spot to sit. We're on Cheetah Cutline now at the moment, and we've traded places with our feet, and we are now on Jigger, who's back up and running and is fixed. So we are on jigger this afternoon to continue with the rest of the drive, to give James a bit of a break for the school drive so that we're not just 2 feeds out, because ultimately bushwalk has to go in when it gets a bit dark. So we're going to try and stay out and help out with the school drive, which is going to be good. It also means that we can spend a little bit more time in this area where we had these leopard tracks, and hopefully we get a sort of sound of them or hear them calling somewhere in this area, and we're able to then find them. So we're going to spend our time in the last remaining rays of light trying to check around this area. But like I say, it's just such beautiful sort of light at this time of the day. We've got this sort of gold cast that is just coming over, and this sort of light greeny brown grass just picks up that light, and it looks incredible. It's the only problem is that most of the grass has now lost its inflorescence, and so the inflorescence is what used to really pick up the light. When you used to get those sort of plumes of chloris grass that would be feathery and that would all catch that gold light, they were the best. So when I talk about sort of chloris, it's very similar to what we see on the termite mound here. Now I wonder if it's going to pick up a bit of that light for us. What do you think, Dave? Will it work? There we go. Maybe to the right a little bit, Dave. I think that's where we're going to see some golden grass. You clearly say you never tire of these sunsets. Well, I couldn't agree more. After 30 years of living in Africa and seeing them day to day, they are really, really marvelous. They're absolutely incredible, and we get very spoilt, and sometimes we get the most incredible cloud masses that form over the top of the sun and get beautiful colors. And there's that grass that I was talking about that is just highlighted in this late afternoon sun. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if 2 leopards walked out into this area and on top of a termite mound like that? That would be the cherry on top to finish a beautiful autumn day. So let's hope that it's in our cosmic karma and we end up with these 2 leopards. But isn't that amazing? Beautiful, beautiful light. Well done, Davy. Very, very good. Other than that, it's been very quiet. I haven't seen too many tracks, not even for any elephants or buffalo. I had some tracks, but they looked like they were from last night and not from this morning. I mean, from this afternoon. So I'm hoping that there will be some animals that will start to show themselves. It is the time of day where things start to become a little bit more active. So hopefully we will end up seeing something. Like I say, it is a best time to be looking in these areas, and we'll check all the water holes as well, because other than Buffelshoek Dam, there is 1 or 2 other little water points around here that could potentially have some sort of sign of life. Now, I believe a lot of you would like to go to the hyena den. Well, that's a fantastic idea. I think I will slowly amble with purpose, as Jamie would say, towards the hyena den. Great to catch up with Ribbon and her little ones. It will definitely be much bigger than the last time I saw them, and hopefully Ribbon will be there. The last few times I've been to the den, it's just been the little ones and no sign of Ribbon. We've had Madam there, and we've had one of her offspring. Sorry, I just thought I saw something in the road ahead. I just want to get my binoculars out and have a little look. It might just be a bush, which it is indeed. I'm sorry. It was just a sort of something different colored in the grass. And often when you're looking for things out here, a lot of people make the mistake and then that they try and spot just a leopard or just a lion or an elephant, and they often look past a lot of things. And the best way to look for things is to look for sort of differences in tone. So when you see light shades of grass, look for darker objects or something that just doesn't look quite right, and then stop and have a second sort of look at it. And that's often you'll find that you'll spot things a lot easier if you apply that principle. But what a beautiful afternoon. It's a lot warmer than what I thought it would be. In fact, last time I was out in the afternoons on the vehicle, it was quite miserable and very, very cold, and we're wrapped up in jerseys, so it is really nice to be in a warm sort of atmosphere and afternoon. Just sort of having another look again just to see if these leopards haven't crossed. I still haven't found any tracks for them crossing out, but I can't find any fresh tracks of them sort of close to where we last had the tracks, which was right on the edge of the boundary. And so I think maybe with the amount of vehicles that have driven up and down here during the day, unfortunately they probably crossed and the vehicles have driven over and we can't see them. But I am holding out hope that just maybe they're somewhere close by and we'll get lucky and be able to find them here. but it's also a little bit quieter on the bird front. There's definitely a few of the birds have started to disappear. So we've had a situation where there were still a few cuckoos around a few weeks ago, and they've now started to go. I haven't seen any signs of them today, and so we're left with only our winter birds. I haven't seen also any signs of woodland kingfisher this afternoon, so I think it's just our normal winter birds that are here, which is good, I suppose, because we've spoilt in that we have a lot of birds, but it kind of lacks that color that we get in the summer months when we get so many different species that come through and migrate, that it feels a little bit depressing when all of them disappear. I'm sure we'll be okay. Well, it does mean that it is starting to get drier, and with drier weather often means better sightings as water becomes a problem, so animals have to start moving towards water and we end up with a much better situation. So hopefully that will be the case, and we'll end up with some really fantastic sightings in the winter. And it's going to be so interesting to see the differences between the Mara, where Brent is, and then Jamie and James and Steph are all going to be, and see how that sort of plays out in comparison to the Djuma winter, and the differences that there will be between the two is going to be really quite something. Just slowly checking along. It's always when you come to a junction of roads important to just look both ways and make sure that you go slowly to a junction, because often animals like to use roads to walk, and so if you just go speeding past an area where a road intersects, you can often miss out and not find what you're looking for. So it's always important just to slow down and have a proper look. Now, just want to see one thing there. Dave, I don't know if you can get that.
This is so amazing. This is so absolutely amazing. This is one of the most gorgeous elephant sightings I've ever had. The reason that my heart's beating so fast is one of them just fell off the bank and decided she was cross with us as a result. But then look at this baby, look at it. Just look at it, it's so gorgeous. Look down there. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, little one. Oh, these hills are just so hard. I'm sorry, but there's nothing like a baby elephant. They are just... It's so incredible. Mom's been kicking her baby away from this hole so that it doesn't fall into where they've all been drinking, because this baby is so small. This baby is so tiny that if it fell in, it would get completely and utterly stuck in there. And Mom is so aware of that. Elephants are just mind-boggling to me. Look at your trunk. Oh, look at you. You're going to get sand up your nose. What is this strange new thing? All this damp sand. No, don't come to me, please. You are so tiny that I don't think Mom would appreciate it. I really don't. Oh, goodness. Oh, careful, little one. Careful. This baby's not a few weeks old. This baby's a few days old. Hi. No, don't you come and be cheeky. Don't you come and be cheeky. You're so young. With your wrinkly forehead, you remind me of Benjamin Button. There's a little baby elephant we used to watch. Oh, this is... Seb?
Yeah.
How special is this?
Very special.
This is unbelievable. I'll tell you about the elephant that fell down the hill later, but first we've got to watch this baby. Oh, we're all having fun, huh? Oh, we're all having fun. What have you got to say for yourself? Are you big and scary? Are you big and scary? Yes, it's very big and scary. Oh, it's very big and scary. Where are you off to? Where are you off to? With your sandy back. Look at the agility of these creatures. Oh, they're amazing. Sorry, I know I keep saying that, but I'll watch that side, you watch the baby. I've got this one. Hey? Sam, what is going on here? Look at this, sorry, look at this. Look, what are you doing? What are you doing right next to us, hey? Oh, you don't want all the attention to be on the little one, hey? You want to show us something as well. How was that pose? How was that pose? Yes, you are beautiful. Real elephants have curves, hey, my girl. You just want to get up the hill. Oh, it's a tough hill to get up, but there we go. Yes, don't you worry. We're very impressed by you. We're very, very impressed by you. Off you go, you silly girl. Off you go, you did it. Don't you start with me either now. This is so amazing. There's got elephants everywhere. I don't know where to look. I don't know where to tell you to look. How was that? Just... I wish I could feel like this for the rest of my life. Like I feel when I sit with these elephants. Yes, very stylish. Very, very stylish. Look at you. That colour suits you, darling. Brings out your eyes. I'm not going to say anything for a bit. I'm just going to let you watch this. I don't think it needs words. Has it been a hard day, huh? Been tough. Tough being a young elephant. Now look at the scene in front of us and tell me that you're not in love. We're so lucky. We're so unbelievably lucky. Sorry, let me move my head out of the way. I'm so distracted. I'm getting my bright green cap in Seb's shot, which I don't think is ideal. Another one digging, looking for water, and of course some sand to throw across its face. The dramatic one at the back is my new favourite. Oh, there comes baby now. Oh, careful, careful. Yes, what is it about baby elephants and going face first into the sand? There's just something that they love about it. Like children playing in mud and eating dirt. Laurie, you say look at the wrinkles on its head. Oh, Laurie, I actually don't even have words. It is so precious. They are so precious. Oh dear, have you had to move now? No fun not being the baby of the family anymore, is it? Now the smaller one gets all the attention and the best sleeping spots, and you just have to move. Look at its feet stuck out like that. It's sitting like a dog. Oh, you are precious creatures. Precious, precious creatures. Now, as soon as this herd starts to move, I'm going to move back, because it's really not fair to expect that little one to try and get up that step. I didn't actually mean, I thought they were all moving in the opposite direction, otherwise I wouldn't have parked here, but I'm not sorry that I did, because this is too gorgeous for words. Look at this. They plumb in her water. But she's not worried about the calf at all, because she's got this whole host of babysitters around her that she knows will look after it. This is beautiful. It is so gorgeous. Thomas, you say that your day is now made. Thomas, I couldn't agree with you more. My day, this has made my day, my week, my month. I'm so grateful that we have elephants in our lives. They bring something so special that nothing, for me, nothing else brings. Look at that. Could you be any more of a poser? Look at you. I mean, that's not comfortable. Don't tell me that that's comfortable. Oh, now the baby's got a bunch of grass. Oh, it's hard using that trunk, isn't it? It's all very confusing. baby elephants, of course, have to learn to use their trunks like human beings have to learn to use their hands. That's not nice grass. That's not yummy grass at all. You don't want to eat that. There's another skirmish over the water. Mummy's hogging it. This is wonderful news. Garrison and Sagebrush Elementaries have joined us this afternoon. So welcome to all of you. This is so special. You've come at just the right time. So we've got 2 schools joining us. Just a quick introduction. My name is Jamie, and we're sitting with elephants that Seb has been filming this afternoon. And it is an absolutely precious sighting. So you guys are watching what's happening right here and right now in South Africa, and it's so gorgeous. So over the next 45 minutes, you guys can send through all your questions that you have and send them through to us. Maybe you'd like to know more about these elephants. They're playing. Oh dear, and it's hard to roll over when you're that big. The baby's stuck, Seb. The baby fell down the hill and it's stuck now. Can't quite get up. Oh, this is too precious. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. Alright. Okay. I was going to move, but now we can't. So we're just going to have to sit very still, Seb. Hello, Mum. Okay, Mummy. Hello, Mummy. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Hello, big girl. No, baby, you can't get up there. Alright, big girl. Mommy, you can't expect your baby to get up that hill. Very still, Seb. Hi, guys. Hello. 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 Don't touch my car. You'll get into trouble. Okay. 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 Alright. Hi, guys. Alright. Okay. Nice and still. Nice and still. Now, what's happening here is there's this tiny, tiny baby, and it needs to get up the hill, but it can't because it's too small. And Mom is standing by to protect it. There you go. Push it up. Push it up. Give it a push. Watch this. Watch this. There it goes. Give it a push. Come on. Look how this elephant's helping it. Up you get. Come on, little Bubba. You can do it. You can do it. Hey, you two are not helping. Alright, alright, alright. Okay. Alright, Seb, we need to move. Because this baby's not going to get up this hill. I just don't want to start the engine and frighten it.
Stop now.
Yeah.
Just wait a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to let it just... Come on, move the baby. Move the baby to the edge. It's stuck between these 2 boys now, which is not helping us. Come on. It's caught in the grass. Okay, baby. You boys are not helping matters. You boys are not helping at all. Come on, problem solved, little one. Look how she's wrapping her trunk. She's going to try and lift the baby up. Come on, baby. Come on, you're so close. Okay, Mom. Alright, it's not my fault. Come on, little Bubba. You're going the wrong way, sweetie. there's a nice easy way for you to get up. You just have to go round a little bit, and you need to move out of its way. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, Bubba. Don't panic. Okay, I definitely can't start the engine now. Baby's too close. And it'll get such a fright.
We're gonna walk behind the car, so you can be fine.
Hi, Mom. There we go.
There we go.
There we go, you silly thing. Was that so easy? Was that so easy, huh? Not so difficult. Oh, it's difficult even when you're a big elephant, apparently. Now, don't take it out on me. That was so cool. I love elephants so much. And you? Did you get left behind? Yes, yes, yes. Juliana, you want to know how much the baby weighs. We're just going to sit still until they've moved off completely, and then we'll move. That was so cool. But you're... There's Seb, well done. Seb did an amazing job there
And you too.
of staying very still.
Wow.
Right, Juliana, sorry, you want to know how much a baby elephant weighs. It's about 100 kilograms when it's born. That's over 200 pounds. That is an absolutely massive baby. But bear in mind, Mum is pregnant for nearly 2 years, 22 months. So when she does have that baby, she's so protective over it. And that's why, in the position that we were in, I wanted to move back, but they came so quickly that I didn't have a chance to. And that's why we had to be so careful and so quiet. You must have heard how I was whispering. I was just communicating to her. She can't understand what I'm saying, but I'm communicating to her that we're not a threat to that baby in any way. But she was worried because she couldn't get it up the hill. But that happens. That would happen whether or not I was here, because apparently all the elephants ignored the fact that there's a gentle slope over there. That was so cool, though. What a fantastic way to start off your school drive than with elephants that close to us. And these are wild elephants. They're not tame elephants at all. They're completely wild. But by our body language and behavior and the fact that they've seen safari vehicles throughout their lives, they're comfortable with us. They're not scared of us. And that's great, provided we respect that, which is why we sat so quiet and still, especially when she had that little one. But the coolest part, the way that baby got up, was Mom with her trunk, just giving it that little leg up that it needed. Oh, let me show you something over here. Water. There we go. That's the water over there. My heart rate is still somewhere right up in the top of my chest, possibly in my throat. Now, you can see where they've been playing. And Alison, you want to know, well, why do they roll in the dirt? Alison, they roll in the dirt for a couple of reasons. One, if they get itchy skin, then it really helps to relieve that itch. And two, I think they do it because they enjoy it. I think it feels good on their skin. I think they enjoy that texture. So that is why they roll in the dirt and in the sand. It helps to get rid of things like ticks as well. You can imagine, they don't have any thumbs. They can't pick off a tick that might be on their skin, especially in those hard-to-reach places. So they throw the sand up. It also helps to, and I mean, that's not why they're doing it at the moment, because it's nighttime here in South Africa. The sun has gone down. The sun is set. But the reason that they do it is also to help protect their skin against the harsh effects of the sun. So that bright, burning sun, particularly in summer, then what an elephant will do is it'll go and roll in mud, or it'll roll in sand.
I'm not going to show you his thumb because unfortunately he's holding the camera. Good. Now, those elephants were magnificent and a tremendously exciting sighting that you had to start with, and I'm very jealous of Jamie. I'm not going to be able to speak to her when she gets back here. So we're going to try and show you something very small over here. And hopefully Jamie's luck will hold and she'll find you something else quite fun. So this thing is called an antlion. And maybe if Jamie's luck holds, she'll find you a real lion. But this is called an antlion. So what we're going to do, just look at the hole here. And if I flick it like that, normally what happens is that the antlion will push the sand out of his little home. And this guy, of course, is not doing that. So what I'm going to try and do, he can dig one of these in about 10 seconds, so I'm not going to worry too much about destroying it. Let's see if I can pick him up. Let's see if we can collect him now. Let's put this over here, and we'll just see if he doesn't pop out. There he is. Is that him? No, it's not him. So what he will do, he digs that thing, it's like a trap to catch ants in. And
Like Star Wars.
it's like Star Wars, yes. And he grabs the ants with these special little pincers that he has. And I wonder if we didn't miss him, maybe. Oh, that's a pity. Hang on a second. Let's try another one. Here's one. Here's another one. Because if we can get him out, it'll be such fun to look at him. We've got a very special thing in the tent called a microscope. There he is. Is that him? No, it's a piece of sand. Oh, this is a disaster. Sorry, everyone. My luck really isn't anything like as good as Jamie's. No, still nothing. Let's try one more. Okay, we'll try one more. Are you here, Mr. Antlion? I think what happens is that it gets cold, you know. It's got quite cold. And I think maybe they just stop moving. No. I'm really quite disappointed by that. We'd found this hole and we waited. And unfortunately, well, the antlion is not home anymore. Sorry about that. Okay, well, that's not to say we can't find you something else interesting and something to put under a microscope. I'm just going to quickly clean myself off. I don't have an elephant mother to help me there. What else can we find here? Right, now, we're coming towards the end of our summertime, and what that means, well, in fact, we're into pretty much the beginning of wintertime. What that means is that our flowers are finishing. The beautiful flowers of our summer are coming to an end, but they've got lots of insects in them. And we're just quickly going to show you the moon over there with this flower. And then I'm going to put this flower underneath the microscope and we'll see if we can't find something exciting inside the flowers. Isn't that beautiful? And there you can see a rabbit in the moon, and with any luck, you'll meet Tristan just now. He'll find you the equivalent of a rabbit, and that, of course, out here, is something called a scrub hare. Now, this is where I work. Once we've had a look at the beautiful moon, that's a wonderful shot there that Fergus is getting of the rabbit in the moon. It looks like a big piece of cheese with a rabbit printed on it, which I think is quite fun. And I want to show you now my very beautiful office. Isn't it cool? I bet none of you have got an office like this. I bet none of your parents have got an office like this. In the middle of the wild of Africa. Let's see. Now, this is my special microscope, everybody. And you know, they're not too expensive, these things. You can buy them online. And I tell you what, they will make your life change. There we go. How pretty is that? I bet you didn't think when I showed you this little spiky green thing with a couple of white spikes on it, I bet you didn't think to yourself, there is a gorgeous pink flower there. Well, there it is. And I'm just going to move it slightly because you often find things living inside these flowers. Naturally today, a bit like with my antlion search, doesn't seem to be much going on inside this one. Let's move it around a little bit and see if there isn't something else maybe. There, you can see the different structures that this flower has. Each one of these will make a seed. Each one of these little purple flowers will make a pretty seed. It really is very pretty. but I don't know why. Today is just not my day. I can't find anything living. This one's a little bit older. Let's turn this one round.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm afraid I can't
Now,
answer.
my telephone seems to be talking to me. It says, I'm sorry, James, I just cannot find the answer, it says. Well, I tell you what I think about that. Not very much. Anyway, we'll toss that out. Sorry about that. Let's go let's go back to the flower. Did you see that? It started answering my question, as if I didn't know the answer. Now, Aileen, you ask a very good question. You say, what kind of flower is this? Aileen, it's called a knotweed. A knotweed. And unfortunately, this knotweed is not performing like I hoped it would. I'm going to try and find another one, because I found some wonderful insects on a knotweed yesterday. Alas, nothing today. Oh, and I'll quickly show you one more thing. We've got a lovely thing over here. He's called Ronald the Rover, and Ronald the Rover is a little robot, and he's got a beautiful view of the last dying embers of the day. And I'll just show you that Ronald can move. I hope he can still move. Can he? No, he's frozen completely stiff. This might be the worst day of my life. I don't think I've had today. So I'm going to try and find luck, and hope that Tristan, who you're going to see now, is doing a bit better than me.
Well, unfortunately, we're also not having very much luck at all. We're struggling to find anything, but we have a new target, and we shall try and find that scrub hare that James is talking about. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera we've got Dave, and like I say, we're on the hunt for a scrub hare. So hopefully we'll find them. It is a little bit early for them now. We haven't seen any signs of them just yet, but this is around the time of the day that the little scrub hares come out and start looking for food and start to spend the night moving around. So with a bit of luck, maybe we will find them. I hope so, because otherwise it's been a very difficult afternoon. We've had no luck whatsoever. We tried to track some leopards, but we had no luck. But what we do have, Dave, I have spotted something which is a miracle. It is going to snow. There is a white-backed vulture on the tree. So we have found ourselves our first animal, which is amazing. And it is a bird, a very, very big bird, and one that looks quite ugly. This is what we call a white-backed vulture, and these are one of my favorite birds. I know they're very ugly and they eat meat and everybody doesn't really like them, but they are so useful for this area. White-backed vultures help to keep everything in this area nice and clean, and they get rid of all the smelly meat that we have lying around from the lions and the leopards and the cheetahs, and so they make everything nice and hygienic and clean and make sure that we don't have bacteria everywhere and causing other animals to get sick. Now, the reason why this vulture is sitting here, it's not because there is a source of meat anywhere close by. It is sitting here because it's now time for it to go to sleep. Vultures fly around at night. They don't move around during the day, because otherwise, don't move around at night because they can't see where they're going. So they fly at night to be able to find the food that they need. And so when it starts to get dark like it is now, you'll find the vultures are going to land on their open trees like this, and they'll tuck their necks in to stay nice and warm, and then they will spend the evening there. And if we came here first thing tomorrow morning when the sun was just starting to come up, I bet this vulture will still be sitting there waiting patiently for the sun to come up, for it to get a little bit warmer, so that it can then start to find the food that it needs. Now, the interesting thing with a vulture is if you look on its head there, you see it's got no feathers. Now, I wonder if any of you can guess why it's got no feathers. Remember, you can tell your teachers why you think it's got no feathers, and we'll see who can guess correctly. You see the rest of the body has got lots of big feathers, but the neck and head are bare. So hopefully one of you will be clever enough to know why that is. But they do look very Undertaker-ish as they sort of watch. And he's got the best place to watch over the beautiful moonrise that we've got. We've got a full moon almost coming up now. So there you can see our moon coming over the horizon. I'm going to just try and position. There we go. Well done, Dave. So isn't that moon beautiful? So that vulture's got this perfect view. It had a view of the setting sun, and now it's got a view of this beautiful moon as it lifts and comes above the African bush, and the night will then start. And from there, this vulture will then in the morning hopefully hear sounds of lions or leopards killing something, and will then fly into that area and be able to spot it, and then go and try and hassle those animals for food. Corbin, you're wondering how many different species of vultures we have. Well, in this area, let's count them. We've got the white-backed vulture, which is this one sitting, so that's number 1. Then we've got what's called a lapid-faced vulture, which is the biggest of the vultures that we see here, and is really, really big. Then we've got a white-headed vulture, we have a cape vulture, we have a hooded vulture, and very, 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 very rarely you'll sometimes get an Egyptian vulture. So that makes the 6 of them. Now, I hope I've gotten them all. I don't think I'm missing anything. Maybe James or Jamie might have some others that they know about, but as far as I know, it's just those 6 that can be seen here. Now, generally the ones that we see the most are these white-backed vultures. These are the ones that are the most common, then followed by the hooded vulture, and then the rest of them start coming, and right at the back end is the Egyptian vulture, which is very hard to see. Now, we're going to carry on and scour around for our little scrub hare and see if it's come out of the bushes somewhere. And while we do that, I believe Jamie's got her spotlight out and is scanning around for some nocturnal animals of her own.
Who knows what nocturnal creatures we could find? We could find a scrub hare. We might try and beat Tristan to finding a scrub hare. You never know. We could find a porcupine. We could find a chameleon. All I know is that my day has been completely made by that elephant sighting. I'm so happy. I haven't even noticed that I've forgotten my jacket. Now, all the way through that sighting, while I was sitting with those elephants, I could hear them rumbling to each other. And RJ, you want to know, how do elephants communicate? Scrub hare. Hold on, RJ, hold on 1 second. There's the rabbit that we've been looking for. Here we go. There's a little scrub hare. And James was telling you about the rabbit in the moon. You can see this one with its long ears. Not a rabbit, of course, but a hare. And the difference being that hares live out in the open. We actually don't get any rabbits in this particular area. You do get rabbits in South Africa, but not here. And hares' babies are born a lot more developed than that of rabbits. Beautiful, isn't it? You can see its ears twitching, listening all around it, making sure that there's nothing out here that's going to come and pounce on it and eat it. Pays to be careful if you're a little scrub hare out here. So there we go. We found your scrub hare for you. But I was answering RJ's question, and I know lots of you have lots of elephant questions that you'd like to ask. So we'll leave Tristan to find you another scrub hare, and we'll carry on with RJ's question. Elephants communicate in a couple of ways. One is body language. Their tails, their ears, their trunks, all of those, if you know how to read them, communicate the way that an elephant feels. Then there's their vocal communication. Elephants talk to each other a lot. Sometimes they scream at each other. They have family arguments, and the babies especially will often give off this very loud, quite high-pitched trumpeting sound. And they also communicate with very, very low rumbles, sometimes too low for us to hear as human beings. So they might still be talking to each other, and I might not even be able to hear the sounds that they're making. I'm trying to decide which way I'm going. Let me go this way. So elephants are very complex creatures. They also, like all animals out here, something that human beings don't do so well, they communicate through smell. Now, Thomas, you want to know, why do they have big trunks? A couple of reasons. Thomas, imagine if an elephant, because an elephant stands, its mouth could easily be up to 2 meters above the ground. Now imagine if an elephant had to bend down and drink without its trunk. Imagine if it had to go and stick its face in the water, like a dog or a cat laps up water. It would be really difficult, especially for the big ones, to get right down and drink that way. So the trunk is really useful for pulling water up to their mouths. It's also really useful for communicating. It's very, very strong. They can use it to break down big branches and then feed off them, high branches that they might not be able to reach. But the trunk is so delicate and sensitive as well that they can pick up something like a toothpick or a matchstick off the ground. So even though that trunk is so strong, it's also really flexible, and it's got points that touch together. Now, we saw that hole earlier, and Reagan, you want to know, do they dig with their feet or with their trunks? A combination of different things. They dig with their tusks often, so they'll bend down and dig with their tusks if there's something they need to loosen. Most of the time, they'll loosen the soil with their feet. So they scuff backwards and forwards, but they can still use their trunk to then scoop the dirt out of the way so that they can dig down. And sometimes they're digging for water, sometimes they're digging for tubers. You know, like potatoes grow underground. Well, a lot of plants out here store water and store starch underneath the surface of the soil. So they will smell that with their very sensitive sense of smell, and they'll dig it up. So they dig with all three different things. And that's what makes elephants so unique, because there's nothing else really that has a trunk like that. Now, the reason that I was quite happy in that sighting is the fact that that mom was quite an older mom. So this isn't her first baby, which meant she was a lot more relaxed in that situation, because she's obviously had experience with this. Donovan, you want to know how old elephants get? They can live up to 60 years in the wild, sometimes even 70, but that's very, very unusual. For the males, they don't live quite as long as the females. You could look at somewhere between 45 and 50. But either way, an elephant basically lives almost as long as a human being. They live a really very long time. And they've got very big, very powerful brains that process enormous amounts of information. So they're very intelligent animals as well. And the older ones teach the younger ones how to behave. And of course, an elephant herd is led by the head female, the matriarch. She tells the elephants where to go. She decides where they must go for water, where they must go for food. And if there's something dangerous or something that makes them feel scared, all of the older elephants will be there to protect the little ones. It's one of the reasons why I love elephants as much as I do. They've got such complex behaviors that they demonstrate. And that was such an exciting thing. We've seen something massive. Now James has something much, much smaller to show you.
Finally had some luck, everybody. There is an antlion. Can you believe it? Now this is what we call the larval form. So it's a larva. You know how a caterpillar becomes a moth or a butterfly? Well, this thing becomes something that looks like a dragonfly. And eventually, so this is a young one. And often, the thing that it becomes, the antlion it becomes, actually never feeds. It never eats anything. But as a larva, or a youngster like this, it feeds all the time. And it uses those rather vicious pincers, you can see at the front there, to catch ants. Isn't that amazing? Caden, you're wondering why they call it an antlion. They call it an antlion, Caden, because it eats ants and it catches them. Now what I'm going to try and do is put it into a little observing pen, and then we're going to try and put it under the microscope. Oh, sorry. I'm very excited. It's my first piece of luck today. Ooh. Look at that. See that? Now he's upside down. And I think he'd actually look much better on black background. Sorry, Kirst, come back a sec. So let's put him on a black background. That's much better. And we'll just do this a bit. Isn't he cool? So there you can see his vicious little biting mouth parts. And you can see he's got 6 legs, so he's an insect, that's how we know that. And he walks backwards. Always walks backwards because That's how he digs. So he digs backwards into his little burrow, and he uses those back legs to dig himself into his burrow. I think this is a rather fantastic sighting of an antlion. Let's see how close down we can get to him before he moves. He's absolutely fine. He's just playing dead. Lots of animals like this will play dead if they think they've been spotted. Put the thing right on top of him, and then I know that's not a great picture. There we go. We'll just put some light on quickly. There. Isn't that amazing? Oh, he's starting to wake up again. And look at his beard. He's got a little beard. And now you can see his vicious teeth there. You see that? Look at those sores on the front of his, what they'd call them, pedipalps, I guess, modified pedipalps. So those big pincers on the front of his face, on his jaws. You, and imagine being an ant and grabbed by that. You wouldn't have a chance, would you? So what we will do eventually is just return him to the soil, where, like I say, in about 10 seconds he'll make himself another home. But they do like to pretend to be dead, because it tends to put predators off sometimes. Now, Raina, you're obviously quite a clever person. You say, do animals come out according to the seasons? Absolutely, they do. These animals will come down. Whoops. These animals will come out mainly during the summer months. There he is, that's the top of him. They'll come out mainly during the summer, and we're just going out of the summer now, so there'll be a few of them left, and some of them will survive throughout the winter. But when it gets cold, it's difficult for an insect. So most of the insects and the reptiles and that sort of thing will only be out in the summertime. And we're going into winter now, so much of these very special sightings of these animals are going to become much less frequent. And the bigger animals then will start to concentrate around the water. You saw those elephants. We'll find buffalo and that sort of thing also around all the water holes as the water gets less and less during the dry season, because winter for us is our dry season. See how he's trying to dig with his bottom there? Now, Malia, you're wondering how long it takes an antlion pupa to turn into an adult. I don't know how long the pupa takes, but I know that this process, so from larval stage up until adult stage, takes a year. So it takes roughly a full year for this chap to eat enough ants to become big enough to turn into an antlion. You see how he's trying to dig there with his bottom? Can't figure out quite why it's so difficult here in this plastic. And all those hairs around him will help him to be able to get into the soil. And Elizabeth, as I was just saying there, you say, why are they hairy? Well, Elizabeth, it's because we think that those hairs help him to push the soil out of the way, to push the sand out of the way when he goes under the ground. Isn't that cool? I think that's just the most wonderful shot. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll try and do now. I'm going to try something quite special. Let's see if we can't watch him dig. Let's put him over there, and then what we'll do is we'll take the sand that he was in, that's the sand here on this piece of paper, okay, and we'll put it in the other half of our viewing device. There we go. Okay, we'll put that there. Not make too much a mess. For me not to make a mess is very unusual. And now we're going to put this chap in here. And I'm going to quickly try and get the microscope onto him, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it fast enough before he digs himself under the ground. Boom. Right, there we go. Dig. Ah, cool. Now let's see. Watch. Come on, dig. There, you can see him digging. Look. There he goes. There he goes. Go on, under you go. I thought they were a bit faster than that. There he goes. And he's gone. And that's where he'll wait for an ant to come past. How amazing was that? I think this might be the best antlion sighting I've ever had after such a poor start. Cool, so that's where he's going to hide. and I'll put him back outside right now. You can see outside it's got quite dark. Ooh, but Tristan is not afraid.
Well, I don't know, James. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit afraid of such things. Now, we're still failing miserably in our quest for our scrub hare. We have yet to find anything with a heartbeat besides our vulture, so it's all quite quiet at this stage, but it is a good time to have things coming out. Oh, Sam, this is an interesting one. You want to know how many different species of nocturnal animals there are. Well, Sam, there's probably more than I can actually count, because if we're thinking about all the different animals, then we've got to count the insects like the antlion that James was showing you, and then we've got to count some of the nocturnal birds like the owls and the nightjars. Then there's the animals, which there are lots of those too, and so it would be quite a number of them, and I actually don't even know how many there would be. There's also frogs and toads that move around at night, certain snakes, so it is a lot of animals that do. But if we think about the more common ones, and if we're thinking about mammals, then I would say that the ones that are active at night are lions and leopards, and the small carnivores like servals and caracals, civets, genets, the scrub hare that we're talking about just now, which is not a carnivore, and they'll be out. There'll be things like pangolins and aardvarks, which are types of mammals that come out at night. So there are quite a number of them that do come out, but I'm not sure the exact number of species that are out here at any one time in the evening. Avalon, you want to know what the most dangerous animal is? Well, I think it depends if you're in a vehicle or if you're walking. Now, if you're in a car like we are now, I would say the most dangerous animal would probably be an elephant. That would be probably for me the most dangerous one. I'm not sure what James and Jamie would say, but I would say for me in a car, an elephant. But on foot, my sort of ones that I'm scared of, well, not scared of, but the ones that I have the most respect for is probably buffalo and hippos if they are out of the water. Those two can be very dangerous if you're not watching what you're doing and you're not very careful around them. Then sometimes you can get yourself into a bit of a problem. But on a car, for me, an elephant would be something that you'd have to be very, very worried about, because an elephant has got a lot of power and can potentially do quite a lot of damage and hurt you. But luckily for us in this area, as you saw earlier, the elephants are very, very nice, and they haven't been hunted or been shot at or tried to be poached, and so they are a lot more relaxed with us here than some elephants in the rest of Africa. So Braxton, since we're talking about Africa, you want to know where exactly we are in Africa. Well, Braxton, we are in South Africa, in the southernmost tip of the continent, and we are in the northeastern parts of South Africa. So in a place called Djuma Game Reserve, which is in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which is part of the Greater Kruger National Park. And we basically sit on the border of Mozambique and Zimbabwe inside South Africa. So it is a beautiful part of the world to be, and we are quite far south of the equator in the southern hemisphere. So quite a long way away from where you are, up in the northern hemisphere. But it is a very pretty part of the world. We have a beautiful amount of trees and grasses and animals that makes things very special. Now, we have found something with a heartbeat in front, Dave, so maybe we can try out a bit of technology and we can use our infrared light. So we have an infrared light that works really, really well. So while that warms up, we have some impalas that are in front of us. Now there they are, just in the darkness. I think, Dave, I might try and get a little bit closer, because otherwise we're going to struggle a little bit. But we switch into the infrared so that we can see a little bit better at night and not worry about hurting the animal's eyes, because a lot of the animals out here have very sensitive eyes, and so they get hurt if they are shone upon with spotlight. And so with the infrared light, we're able to watch them and not hurt their eyes in any single way, which is really good. Now let's see if they're not going to have run away from us. Dave, can you still see them? So Carly, are you wondering if all the animals drink from the same water hole? Well, yes, in the winter times when there's very little water around, then you'll find they all do. So the elephants and the lions and the leopards and the impalas will all share the water hole together. But in summer, then no. When there's lots of water around, then they all go to their different spots to drink what they need to drink. Now, as you can see, there are two impalas. It looks like a impala male on the left. You can see he's got horns. Now the one on the right looks like a female, and actually at this time of the year is the time where the males and the females go together, so you'll find that this is quite common to see the two of them together. And you can see they're watching us because they know that this time of night is when all the predators come out, and the lions and the leopards, they start looking for food. And so the impalas have to be very, very, very careful and very, very nervous and listen to what's going on so that they don't get eaten. And that's why you see they're not feeding, they're just stopping, and they're using those big ears that they're able to listen very well, and their sense of smell to be able to try and work out what's going on in the darkness. Their eyes are not as good as the predator's eyes, and so they don't see as well, and it means that it's a lot harder at night for them to stay safe. Aren't they beautiful? Now, we're going to carry on and see if I can't find that scrub hare and see if we can't catch it in the last few minutes of the show. But while we do that, I believe Jamie is on to some more elephants and is now become affectionately known as the Elephant Whisperer.
We did do a lot of whispering, I will say that. I don't know how much the elephants understood, but we did a lot of whispering to elephants today. We did a lot of whispering full stop, but it was definitely magical. Oh, what a nice way to end a day. Now, Ellie, just quickly before we finish off our drive, you want to know, why do elephants have such big ears? Ellie, I'm just going to stop quickly because I might as well concentrate on giving you an answer. They've got such big ears, because they're such big animals and it gets really hot out here. Sometimes it gets over 100 degrees Fahrenheit day after day after day. And when you're as big as an elephant, you get hot. So what they have is a network of veins and capillaries in their ears that are really close to the surface. So they flap, and the air moves across, and it's like having a giant air conditioning unit built in. It cools them down, and then that blood goes to the rest of their body. Now, unfortunately, that's it for this evening's Sunset Safari. It's time to say goodbye. So first of all, a big thank you to the schools for joining us. I hope that you guys have had an incredible time and that you learned a lot about the different animals out here. And then a big thank you to Seb, a big thank you to Seb for doing an amazing job on the back of the vehicle today and having absolute nerves of steel. Very, very impressed. We had a very, very good afternoon. It was amazing. And a big thank you to Kirsten, who was in final control with Kirst? Alice, I'm so sorry. And most importantly, thank you to all of our viewers. We'll see you tomorrow on the Sunrise Safari. Bye-bye, everybody, and we'll catch up with you then.